A mayoral candidate being challenged. The saga surrounding embattled South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard continues.
Mayoral candidate will be on the general election ballot despite an attempt to block her candidacy by an ally of current Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who is...
Well, things in Dolton, Illinois are heating up like never before. This time, she's unveiled her brand new dream team of trustees and clerks as part of her re-election campaign. And let's just say the rollout has been anything but smooth. With scandals, controversies, and some eyebrow-raising resumes, Henyard's latest moves have everyone talking. But wait, this isn't just about her team. Oh no, Tiffany herself is a walking headline, with lawsuits, federal probes, and a reputation that seems to spark drama wherever she goes. So what's the deal with this so-called super mayor? And can her new team help her clean up Dolton? Or will they just add to the chaos? Let's dive into the madness.
This manipulation. Nobody likes being manipulated, and when you get here, you know that's exactly what's happening.
But first, let's talk about the star of the show herself, Tiffany Henyard. She's not just juggling one role, she's got two. As the mayor of Dolton and the Thornton Township supervisor, she's managed to keep herself firmly planted in the center of power. And while she proudly touts her status as the youngest and first woman mayor in Dolton's history, her tenure hasn't exactly been a fairy tale, with accusations of financial mismanagement, lavish taxpayer-funded travel, and even an ongoing federal investigation. Some might wonder how she's still in office, let alone running for re-election. But Tiffany isn't just running, she's running with style, or at least that's what she wants us to believe.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard was not at the hearing here today. Neither was her attorney, and she was not made available for a comment.
Enter her latest political stunt, a fresh slate of women trustees and clerks. That's right, Tiffany's putting together an all-female team in what seems to be an attempt to rebrand herself as a champion of women's empowerment. Sounds inspiring, right? Well, not so fast. Critics are already picking apart the qualifications or lack thereof of her chosen candidates, and the internet is having a field day with the official bios released by Henyard's campaign. Let's just say, if first impressions matter, this team might already be in trouble. Take Linda Terrell, for example, one of Tiffany's trustee picks. Linda's bio proudly states that she's a licensed educator and a 35-year resident of Dolton. So far, so good, right? But wait, she also claims to have spent 30 years in Illinois. Hold on a second. How can you live in Dolton, which is in Illinois, for 35 years, but only have 30 years of total time in Illinois? Is this some kind of time travel situation? It's no surprise that people are questioning the accuracy of her credentials, or whether she even read her own bio before it was published. And let's not forget the grammatical chaos sprinkled throughout. If this is the attention to detail we can expect from Henyard's team, Dolton residents might want to brace themselves.
Well, she's one of the most recognizable faces that's been on the news lately. I'm talking about the mayor of Dolton, Tiffany Henyard.
And all of social media.
Yes.
And speaking of shaky details, let's not forget the claims about her extensive banking experience. Terrell's bio mentions overseeing millions in private funds. But what does that actually mean? Was she managing accounts, working directly with clients, or simply handling administrative tasks? The lack of specifics makes it hard to tell whether this is a genuine qualification or just another exaggerated bullet point to pad her resume. It's details like these that have left voters wondering whether Tiffany's team is truly ready to lead or just putting on a show to distract from the mayor's own controversies. Then there's Jocelyn King, another trustee hopeful. Jocelyn's bio jumps straight into the deep end by claiming she oversaw 8 departments and a $20 million annual budget during her time with Thornton Township. Oversaw. Really? The word alone has sparked hilarious debates online, with many suggesting it sounds more like a self-proclaimed title than an actual job responsibility. Overseer has a certain dramatic flair to it, doesn't it? It's as if she's imagining herself as the all-knowing ruler of Thornton Township. Whether or not she had any real authority over that budget remains unclear. But one thing's for sure, the description feels more like a work of fiction than a LinkedIn profile.
It's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Wow.
Let's talk about the title of this, because it's called Super Mayor, and that is what Tiffany Henyard calls herself?
What's even more puzzling is the lack of clarity about her supposed accomplishments in that role. If King really had her hands on such a large budget and multiple departments, why hasn't she highlighted any specific initiatives, successes, or measurable outcomes from her time at Thornton Township? Voters are left wondering if the mention of 8 departments is just there to sound impressive, while the actual scope of her responsibilities remains a mystery. This vagueness has only added fuel to the skepticism surrounding her candidacy. And then there's Tiffany herself. While her team's bios are being mocked for their errors, Tiffany's own introduction isn't faring much better. She describes herself as the CEO of Good Burger. Yes, you heard that right, Good Burger, which sounds suspiciously like the name of a classic 90s comedy movie. Is it a restaurant? A hobby? A typo? Nobody knows for sure, But the internet has had a blast mocking the idea of a politician casually named dropping a fictional brand in her official bio. And that's just the beginning. Tiffany's bio is riddled with incomplete sentences, vague claims, and enough grammatical blunders to make any English teacher cringe. It's almost like she wrote it herself in a rush, which only adds to the perception that her campaign is more about theatrics than substance.
Has this surprised you, how much the viewership has gravitated towards this woman? Like, people from all over the world are talking about her.
But let's not forget the other members of the team. Tina Hughes, the pick for clerk, seems to have the most straightforward resume of the bunch. She's been a supervisor in Thornton Township's General Assistance Department and claims to have managed a $3 million budget while helping thousands of families. Compared to the other bios, hers seems relatively drama-free, which is probably why she's flying under the radar. Still, some critics are questioning whether her experience in general assistance translates to the kind of leadership Dolton needs right now. And then there's Vanessa Wesco, who might just be the most polished member of the team. A business owner with a background in strategic and financial management. Vanessa's bio avoids the wild claims and grammatical errors that plague her colleagues. In fact, some might say she's the only one on Tiffany's team who looks like a serious contender. But even Vanessa isn't immune to criticism. Her lack of specifics like the exact field of her business degrees has left some voters scratching their heads. Is she the real deal or just another name on Tiffany's list?
It's the right way. Illegal.
Of course, it wouldn't be a Tiffany Henyard production without some good old-fashioned controversy. Many residents are questioning the motivations behind her all-female slate, wondering if it's a genuine attempt at diversity or just another ploy to distract from her own scandals. After all, Henyard's time in office has been anything but smooth. From allegations of embezzlement to her infamous taxpayer-funded trips, it's hard not to see this latest move as an attempt to change the narrative. And let's not forget the lawsuits. Tiffany has been in and out of courtrooms, fighting everything from objections to her candidacy to accusations of voter suppression at a recent Democratic caucus. It's a whirlwind of legal drama that seems to follow her wherever she goes.
Jordan.
It's about democracy and it's about hypocrisy.
I really think it's very hypocritical.
But here's the kicker. Despite everything, Henyard is still pushing forward. In her eyes, she's the victim of a political witch hunt, and she's not afraid to say it. The people will put me on the ballot, she declared during a press conference, as if willing her supporters to overlook the chaos and focus on her vision for Dolton. Whether or not they'll buy into that narrative remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, Tiffany knows how to keep herself in the headlines.
Manner of fights in Thornton Township and in Dolton. Except in one case, Tiffany Henyard wants on a ballot, while in another, a Henyard ally was looking to keep her opponent off.
Meanwhile, the residents of Dolton are left to deal with the fallout. Many are fed up with the constant drama, calling it a distraction from the real issues facing the village. We need someone who actually works for the people, not themselves, one resident said, echoing the frustrations of many. Others are more skeptical, questioning how Henyard has managed to avoid serious consequences despite the numerous investigations and scandals surrounding her. How is this woman not in jail and running again? One commenter asked, summing up the disbelief felt by many in the community.
The vote is unanimous. The objector's petition has been withdrawn.
Can't do that. Can't contest everyone that come you.
As for Henyard's opponents, the race is shaping up to be a battle of personalities. Senior trustee Jason House, who's also running for mayor, is positioning himself as the ethical alternative to Henyard's chaotic reign. In his campaign statements, House has emphasized the need for transparency, accountability, and a focus on community priorities. He's even taken subtle digs at Henyard's leadership style, calling her recent lawsuits distractions and accusing her of misusing taxpayer dollars. But will his message resonate with voters? Or will Henyard's larger-than-life persona overshadow his campaign?
Again, no comment from Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Voters here will first head to the polls in February for the primary election, then the general mayoral election.
And then there's Cassandra Hobson-Jordan, who recently secured her spot on the ballot after a failed attempt by Henyard's ally to block her candidacy. Representing the rebuilding Dolton party, Hobson-Jordan has already made it clear that she's ready to take on the challenges Henyard has left behind. It's about the people, she said during a recent interview. It's not about me. It's about the people. Her campaign is gaining momentum, and some are calling her the dark horse of the race. But whether she can unite Dolton's divided voters remains to be seen. One thing is certain. The next few months are going to be anything but boring in Dolton. With the primary election in February and the general election in April, the stakes have never been higher. Will Tiffany Henyard's dream team help her secure another term? Or will her opponents finally put an end to her reign? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, Dolton residents are in for a wild ride. So, what do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard's all-female slate a step in the right direction, or just another distraction from her scandals? And can Dolton ever move past the drama and focus on the real issues? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.